What's up, guys? I'm back with another video, and today I want to talk about the age of nostalgia. Today we're going to talk about Hollywood and the film industry in terms of remakes and reboots, older properties that are being relied upon in modern cinema, and we're going to discuss it at the filmmaker level, at the audience level, at the studio level, exactly how all of this kind of circle kind of comes back around to each other like a boomerang, basically, and why I think that it is a problem in cinema. Now, studios, if you don't really understand the economics of filmmaking, which I don't expect you to, that's why I'm making the video, and it's why I'm mentioning it. You know, a lot of people don't understand the fundamentals of making movies and budgets and interest rates, any of that stuff. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but any of that stuff we're going to talk about because it makes a lot of sense why films are not as innovative as they used to be. So studios. Now, this can be your independent studio, independent film production company, or it can be a Hollywood, monolith. Any of the studios that are making movies. You name any studio, they probably fall under this umbrella. What a lot of studios will try to do with IP is reboot it with a sequel that, if you've watched Scream 5, it gives a pretty good explanation, but they try to do either a sequel that basically reboots the franchise with a whole new cast, but kind of like lingering plot lines or something from the old movies coming back and haunting this new age, basically. So we're going to start with the kind of remake trend and talk about the money side of it. We're talking about why studios are doing this. Why are they relying on these remakes? Now, if you already know, I mean, money has been really tight these past 4 years, especially. And I don't know about you, but it feels like ever since 2020, ever since COVID, dude, everything has been kind of just fucked. I'm not going to lie to you. It has been fucked beyond belief. In terms of video games, movies, music, I mean, there's some hitters, there's some innovation, but a lot of the times we're getting just slop. And now, what's slop? It's basically whatever a studio will shit out, or a filmmaker, or whoever a creative entity, whoever is making stuff, they're throwing stuff out in the hopes that people will just blindly pay money and not putting in much effort to get a buck. And to me, that's scummy, and it's happening all the time. Like, you're seeing it constantly in the industry. But why is that? Why is there not enough innovation? I truly believe that the ability to make something that people love is so powerful, and to have people to love whatever your creation is, that is such a special thing that a creator can ever create and an audience member can ever have with the filmmaker or the creator. It's a special synergy, and I feel like studios, they kind of, not intentionally, but a lot of studios, they're so tight for cash. And what do I mean by that? So you got basically the interest rates, they're higher. Money is kind of hard to borrow in order to fund these movies, because that's how they do it. They borrow the money and they are using this cash basically like a loan, and they're using this cash to fund their films. Historically, the interest rates weren't as high, and there wasn't a lot of, I would say, tension, grand scheme of how expensive it is to make movies. Especially today with a lot of CGI, especially with a superhero movie or anything fantastical, it is so expensive. So if you have high interest rates or high costs in general to borrow cash, and there's a lot of tension, studios are not going to go for the original films that people may or may not show up for. Now, let's talk about the audience for just a minute. Let's talk about the audience. I love the audience. You guys know this. If you guys have listened to me at all from whatever I've put out ever since I've kind of changed this channel into my filmmaking channel. Now, audiences, it's very tough nowadays. I'm going to be honest with you. Going out to a theater, spending $100, $150 for the whole family to go out to see a new movie one time for 2 hours is a lot of money. And most families don't want to do that because some of the movies suck. Even the established IP movies suck. But by and large, for me, whenever I take my family out, usually it's about 2 movies a year that we all get to go out and see as a family. Like, my family used to really love going out and seeing, going out and seeing movies. And I've seen a lot of people on here that on YouTube especially, where they'll go out and see these movies, but they're not very happy with a lot of the films that they're seeing. There's always some things that they didn't like, or this is also another thing, toxic moviegoers. People who excessively hate. I wanted to make a whole video. I literally filmed a whole video for this, but I actually deleted the video because I thought it was very cynical. I didn't like the way that I spoke about audience members. I didn't want that to kind of taint everybody's vision of what I really think. So I wanted to make this video. I feel like whenever I go out and see a movie in public, it's just a bad experience. Like, people are crinkling their shit, they're talking, they're fucking on their phones, flashing their lights, getting notifications. It's just an aggravating experience. And if I were to ever get my one shot to make a movie or have a whole career where I get to make movies, I would not want anyone to sit in a fucking room, a dark room, and have the experiences that I've had watching movies at my local cinema. Who wants to watch a movie in that climate? I'd rather, a lot of people, and this is why, theaters are kind of failing. We need to get to the Alamo Draft House or whatever it's called. We need to get into that style where people actually sit in and they make sure the audience is being respectful, because the people just aren't respectful nowadays of cinema. That they see cinema. I don't know if it's like they don't respect it, but there's a good 25% of people that don't respect the cinema experience, and it's not sacred. And that's all. And that to me is the ultimate disrespect. It pisses me off more than anything. Whenever I go out and see a damn good movie, but the audience sucks, it ruins that entire film for me. Because you really, at the end of the day, you really only get one chance to watch a movie and form your opinion on it. And if you have a negative experience, it negatively impacts your opinion of the film itself. Now, I might be wrong on that. I might be just, yapping. I might be yapping here, but in my opinion, if you have a bad experience, you're probably not going to go out and see another movie. And that is kind of held true. And it's always a remake or a reboot. It's always a blockbuster tentpole film that is a remake, reboot, whatever you want to call it. It's always a pre-established IP. I'm usually the only one that goes out and seeks out, smaller original films or original film from a studio. I don't know, it's just odd. It's an odd experience. So when the studios are trying to make movies, they rely on these remakes to keep the lights on. And it used to be where they would actually produce original content, original stories. They would give somebody a chance to make a film and tell a new story. So they would make, 4 or 5 remakes in the span of 4 to 5 years, or even 10 years. And they would give, that one movie would make up for 10 original movies. Nowadays, it's all about making 10 reboots and remakes and 1 original film. I don't agree with that. I think that is eventually going to bleed dry the audience. We're going to get tired of nostalgia. Honestly, at this point, I don't know if we are. Because people are they constantly keep going out to these remakes and reboots at the same time complaining that there's no new stories. And anything that's original, hated on. People that just want the movie to fail. How is that productive? How is that going to affect the filmmaker or the studio, whoever gave that one person a chance? Now, there are some things that that I understand, like the new Minecraft movie. That one looks just atrocious. I'm glad people are not going out to see that, but M. Night, the dude has had two to three bangers, if that, in the past 10 to 20 years. I would probably say 10 years. Split and The Visit. Everything else, old Trap made their money back. And that movie felt like it was insulting my intelligence. If you've seen that movie, you understand what I'm saying. But damn, that movie fucking pissed me off. God. And I love M. Night. I really do. I want him to come back again. But damn it, I'm getting tired of saying, M. Night, he might be back. I'm tired of saying that. Just come back, M. Night. Make some good shit. Let someone else write your movie. Anyways, sorry for the tidbit. I'm just as much as a film goer as you guys, saying that I'm not going to praise something that is garbage. Sorry. What do us filmmakers, what's our answer to original movies kind of being phased out in the past 5 to 10 years? I would say probably since 2020, to be honest. And remakes and reboots kind of being relied upon. So the filmmakers' answer to this is to really just take up pre-established IP. Now we're talking about Terminator, Avatar. Yeah, I mean, it could be any IP that you love. The latest ones, Beetlejuice, It, Chapter 1 and 2, and they craft new stories with that pre-established IP to connect to today's audiences. Now, I think that's interesting. I think that is an interesting concept, is that, an auteur filmmaker that loves movies, wants to innovate. They decide to take up IP that is already established. The Exorcist. Now, I'm not saying Exorcist Believer, it was good. It was horrible, but Halloween as well. They take up pre-established IP to craft their own stories and kind of blend it together to connect with today's audiences. Now, to me, a good example is like Saw 8 and The Invisible Man by Lee Winnell. Those two movies were unlike anything that had come before, at least tonally and as a story. I mean, Saw 8 was actually like good. And I'm a Saw fan, so and that movie surprised the hell out of me. The Invisible Man, I saw that movie by myself. It was a rare movie for me to go out, and especially at that time in 2020. It was right before COVID happened, and that movie just shook me. It was like, holy shit, this is what a horror movie can be like with today's technology. And it was to me, those are two remakes or reboots of a franchise that studios didn't know what to do with, and they succeeded in telling a new story that connects with today's audiences and exceeds the expectations. And also, same director, Upgrade. I feel like that movie, I included this one in my notes, but Upgrade, in my opinion, is much more of a RoboCop type of deal. It's kind of like technology, it's a technology movie, sci-fi type of deal. I feel like Upgrade has a lot of RoboCop similarities, or at least like it has that feeling of RoboCop. I don't know. I probably shouldn't have put that, but in my opinion, it kind of works. What's the other option? Create their own IP. We're seeing this with Terrifier 2 and now 3. And I love that approach. I love that approach of kind of just doing your own thing, sticking it to Hollywood and saying, look, if you guys aren't going to finance my stuff, you're not going to give me a chance. I'm going to do it my damn self. And I'm going to put this movie in theaters independently. I love that. But not everyone can do that. So those are the two answers that a filmmaker today has basically crafted in order to make movies. Then you have filmmakers that are still producing their own IP, which this one's kind of tricky. Furiosa, Mad Max. That movie was fantastic. I loved it. I didn't think it was as good as Fury Road, but I still loved it. But I guess people just aren't excited about that. Or I don't know. Why did it perform poorly? I don't know. It's just kind of an example of that. Even though you can rely on pre-established IP and have a great filmmaker behind the camera and have a good story, sometimes it just doesn't work out. And that's kind of life's little lesson for us filmmakers, is that no matter what you do, sometimes it just doesn't work out, and that's okay. So does Hollywood hate innovation, or or does it use it sparingly to create a landmark film in history with its remakes? Or is it just reliance because of economics? In my opinion, it's a little bit of both. I think there's a little bit of both here, especially in the last 4 to 5 years. But I'll always remember It Chapter 1. When that trailer came out, I know exactly where I was, and that trailer had everybody scared to death and excited, and it was damn good. And I think that there is a little bit of manipulation with that, and that's what, you know, filmmaking is. It's all about manipulation of the audience, expectations and subversions, and I think that's really fun. But I don't like the way that Hollywood is utilizing nostalgia in order to get you in the seats. So out of all this, the circle keeps coming back around. After everything we've spoken about, where does this all lead to? In my opinion, it's like studios like A24, indie cinema. That is where the innovation is at. You're not getting innovation with studio films anymore. You're getting regurgitated stuff from your past. And that's fine if that's what you're looking for. But if you're tired like me of seeing the same thing over and over and over, indie cinema is kind of where you have to go. And it's tough finding indie cinema. It really is. You have to do a lot of work in order to find the good stuff. Hollywood is going to keep breathing down international CGI teams' necks to innovate with technology, and they're going to keep pumping out these movies that have just really bad deep fakes. They're going to keep and try and rely on old actors that can't really perform anymore because they're getting so old. I love them. I love these actors and actresses, but we've got to move on, dude. Jamie Lee Curtis in Borderlands. She didn't look like she knew what movie she was on, dude. She looked like she didn't know where the fuck she was, to be honest. And I love Jamie Lee. I fucking love Jamie Lee, dude. I'm just saying. In the innovation, the magic of cinema, you're not gonna find it with special effects, CGI special effects. You got to start at the story. You got to start with a auteur filmmaker, auteur creator that has a distinctive voice and loves the audience, respects the audience. That's where it starts at. And then innovation can happen. If you're tired like I am, please stop going to the cinema to all of these remakes and reboots, or else eventually that's all you're going to have. You're just going to have these films that aren't even films. It's just member berries. Anyways, guys, hopefully you guys understand where I'm coming from. I don't mean any of this in a negative way. I love cinema. I love the audience. I'm just worried. I'm so worried about all of it, all of this stuff. I'll catch you guys in another video. I love you guys to death. Peace out.